Hey everyone, Eric Engberg here with ericforyou.com, Austin Real Estate. In this video, I am going to discuss who qualifies as a first-time home buyer, what specific loans are available to first-time home buyers, what are some common closing costs associated with first-time home buyer loans, and finally, what are the basic steps in getting pre-qualified. Kelly Ollendorff is a senior loan officer here in the Austin area with Guild Mortgage. And Kelly has been originating loans for nearly 20 years. Kelly, thanks for coming on. All right, so let's get started. Question number one, who qualifies as a first-time home buyer?
Hi, Eric. Great question. A first-time home buyer, in my definition, is someone that's never owned a home before. However, the general answer is, or more specific answer, if you have not owned a home in the most recent 3 years, then you are in most cases considered a first-time home buyer. And there are some exceptions. So if you are married now and maybe your partner has never owned, then there are some exceptions. But for the most part, if you have not owned a home or had interest in a home in the most recent 3 years, you are a first-time home buyer.
Nice. See, I didn't even know that, and I've been in real estate for, going on 10 years now. So if a partner situation, if one of the partners has never owned a home or has not owned a home in the last 3 years, then they would potentially qualify, the couple there would potentially qualify for a first-time home buyer loan.
Yes, that's correct.
Cool. All right. I learned something. All right. Second question. What specific loans are available to first-time home buyers?
Another good question and an important one. There are so many great loans out there for first-time home buyers. And I think my favorite one is an FHA loan. It's federally backed by HUD. Oddly, you do not have to be a first-time home buyer to get an FHA loan, but that's a really popular one because of the low amount down, 3.5% down. So FHA is a great one. USDA, if you're looking in a rural area, is a great loan for a first-time home buyer, 100% financing. There are some conventional loan products that are great for first-time home buyers. They're called, well, some of them are as little as 3% down. So Home Ready and Home Possible are conventional loan products that are great for first-time home buyers as well. So those are pretty much, there's a lot of them, more than one would think. So there's lots of opportunities.
Yeah. And I'm going to throw you for a little bit of a curve here because we didn't discuss this earlier, but so if you're a first-time home buyer, what advantage do you get on the financing end? Does it mean typically a lower down payment, better rates, less closing cost? What advantages are there to someone qualifying as a first-time home buyer?
Well, I think that there are more flexibilities and opportunities for first-time home buyers. Again, if you haven't owned a home in the most recent 3 years, you may be eligible for a mortgage credit certificate program that saves you every year when you do your income taxes, you can get up to a $2,000 tax credit, and that's exclusive for first-time home buyers. There are some income limitations. You can't make too much to be eligible for that, but it gives you some more buying power if you use that mortgage credit certificate program in conjunction with an FHA loan or any type of loan, actually. But yes, I think that many of the products are for first-time home buyers, give you more flexibility, less money down. There are some down payment assistance programs that are exclusive for, available for first-time home buyers. So like I mentioned earlier, an FHA loan, a really popular loan for first-time home buyers, requires a 3.5% down payment. But if you don't have that 3.5%. You could look at getting down payment assistance through not-for-profit agency like TSHAC or TDHCA. And then you don't even have to have the 3.5% for the down payment. You could get it as a grant or as a soft second lien. So long answer to your question, but I think it just gives you first-time home buyers more flexibilities and opportunities for down payment and perhaps more seller paid closing costs. So you can get in for a lot less out of pocket and just overall more flexible.
Good deal. Good deal. And before I move on to my third question, so just to clarify, when you say 3.5% down, what does that mean exactly?
Good question. So for an FHA loan, for example, if you buy a house and it's $100,000 sales price, not too many in the Austin area, but let's
we can dream. We can dream.
Yes. So if you purchase a house and the sales price is $100,000, one would need $3,500 for the down payment. That would be their minimum investment.
Gotcha.
And then you could finance the rest for that example.
Okay. Okay. Good deal. Good deal. All right. Third question. What are some common closing costs that is commonly associated with a first-time home buyer loan?
I think that there's a little bit of a misnomer. A lot of people think, oh, an FHA loan or a first-time home buyer product has a lot more closing costs. And it's pretty comparable to a home loan for a non-first-time home buyer. But generally there are, let's say, maybe a little bit more realistic, a $200,000 home, let's say. I think that common closing costs amount might be about $3,000 closing costs, plus about $1,500 or maybe $2,000 for what I refer to as non-recurring closing costs or prepaid expenses. So maybe $5,500 for closing costs and prepaid expenses for this made up $200,000 sales price home.
Okay. Yeah. And again, I'm throwing you for another curveball here, but I know you'll quickly know the answer. So explain prepaids. We hear that a lot. What are prepaids exactly for, again, someone who has never bought a home?
Mm-hmm. And it's confusing. It's a lot of money. It's a big purchase, and there are certainly there are lots of closing costs and prepaid expenses. So what I call closing costs are your bank's fees, your title company fees, appraisal fees, any third-party fees. So in my example, about $3,000 maybe for a $200,000 home. The prepaid expenses are for prepaying your interest. So you're going to pay interest from the day you close on the loan to the end of the month. So in my made up example, maybe you close on the 15th of a month. You're going to prepay 15 days worth of interest, and that's considered a prepaid expense. When you purchase a home and you don't put at least 20% down, you will be escrowing for property taxes and homeowners insurance. So, and it'll be part of your monthly obligation, your monthly house payment. So you must prepay 1 year ahead homeowners insurance.
And that is part of what you're calling escrow, right?
It's okay. Part of, yes. So the closing costs and the prepaid expenses would be your prepaid interest, 1 year's worth of homeowners insurance, and then to set up your escrow account for your property taxes and your homeowners insurance, we would typically collect and you would prepay 2 or 3 months worth of property taxes, plop it in your escrow account, or we will put it in there for you, and then a couple months of homeowners insurance.
Gotcha. Yeah. And not to get too far off in the weeds, but I'm thinking if somebody's at home, again, never done a loan before, never gone through the process, never purchased a home before, they might be wondering, okay, so we got to put all this money in the escrow account for what reason exactly? And from your explanation there, it is so when your taxes come due at the end of the year, there's enough in your escrow account for your lender to pay them on your behalf. And the same goes for your homeowner's insurance, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
Good deal. All right. Last question. So what are the basic steps if somebody wanted to reach out to you and get pre-qualified for they qualify as a first-time home buyer based off of your definition, and they're interested in a first-time home buyer type program? What are the steps? What do they need to do in order to get that process started?
Good question. So you have to have a desire. I always say that as a first-time home buyer, if you pay your rent and perhaps pay it on time, then you ought to be able to get into a house. So as a first-time home buyer, the first step is to have the desire, but then to apply for a home loan. There's typically no cost, no obligation, but the first step would be to apply with a lender, like myself or someone, a lender. And then once you fill out the application, the lender would pull your credit with permission, look at your income, your debts, figure out how much you might qualify for, how much you might be comfortable spending a month on a house payment, how much you need out of pocket for this. So a lender would, with your application, work towards getting you pre-approved for a home loan and be familiar with and maybe make some suggestions on which programs might meet your needs and desires as far as helping with the down payment or closing costs and whatnot. So first up, apply. Have no fear.
Which you can do nowadays, and I know with you and you're a part of Guild Mortgage, and you guys have a great website, and you have the ability for someone to not only go in and apply, but also to learn more about the process. And, I looked at the website, and you guys got just a ton of information for not only first-time home buyers, but just home buyers in general, which I think is great.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, we have a lot of tools and information out there, and we can connect you with more. Oftentimes, home buyer education course is required for some of these first-time home buyer loan products, so we can steer you in the right direction to get oftentimes free, sometimes online, but some more information to make you more comfortable with the process and explore all your options.
Okay, so there you have it. Hey, if you've never purchased a home before, the process, I understand, can seem a little intimidating and overwhelming. So it's important to have experienced professionals working on your behalf. So reach out to a seasoned loan officer like Kelly, who is well-versed in first-time homebuyer loan programs and who will also help navigate you through the process, as well as a knowledgeable full-time real estate agent who will work to find you the perfect home and negotiate the best possible price. Please reach out to me if I can help. My contact information, as well as Kelly's contact information, will be below in the video description. And until next time, I'm Eric Engberg with ericforyou.com, Austin Real Estate.